Hello, this is Bonnie, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit fun. I think it's something that I enjoy doing and creating, and you're going to say, what is this? It looks just like a tag. It is a tag, and I'm going to show you really quickly what we're going to end up doing. It's going to be a fairy book, a tiny book, and this is going to be the first of at least 2 videos telling you how we're going to go ahead and learn how to make this cute little fairy book. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you some of the supplies that we're going to be needing, and that is what I use to create this. I'm going to pull this up a little bit. Is I use some Fairy Hugs craft paper. I used Rainbow Dance, and the Rainbow Dance paper I used is this one right here. So it would be your second one in the pad, and it's also down below. It would be this one down here. So you actually have 2, and that's what that paper looks like. That's what the outside of this is. The inside of the book is actually WinkleBush, and I used a paper that's a little bit busy, but it worked perfect for inside, and that's this one right here. And it gets repeated again in here, I think, again as well. So those are the papers that we're going to be using. The tag that I did is from Sentimentally Yours, and this one is called Crescent Top Layering Dies. It's a tag, and your tag comes like this. You get several to choose from, and you could really use this concept for any of these tags depending on the size that you want to make. The size that I used is the one that's actually missing, which is this one. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and figure out which one that is. So counting from the largest, 1, 2, 3, it would be the 4th die, or the second from the smallest. That's the one that I used for this particular project. And then as we get going, we're going to go ahead and actually embellish this particular book. And for that, I used Fairy Hug stamps. I used the forest flowers that you can see right here. I actually used one of the brand new stamps that just came out, and this one's called Treasure Quiet, and that's on the inside of the front cover, or it's actually the front cover. And then I also used Ollie. He's on the back. And then, which you probably didn't really notice, but these 2 little lights right there are from Storyteller. So that's what we're going to use in terms of supplies. The other thing I'll probably be showing you as we go are other things like ink and embossing powder and stuff like that. So let's get started. It's really not a hard concept to figure out how to make this into a book, especially if you want a binding. So what I did is I'm pulling out my smallest score tool, and I've already cut one of the tags, and the tag is cut from the outside, not the inside. And because I knew what I wanted in terms of this going this way, I had to figure out what the size of it was. And so making sure that I have this right. Yep. Okay. I have to try to remember what it is I did do. Okay, I did do it this way. Okay. So I figured out what was going to be the half of the part that I wanted. I knew I was going to flap this over, so I started from this side going in. And so 2 was my center of my binding. And so I knew I wanted a little bit on each side. So what I did was I went ahead and added, put it up there to show you. I went ahead and went like 1/4 and 1/4. So that would mean, if you wanted to write this down, we're going to be at 1 3/4, which means with this part butt up against the side. And then this one right here would be 2. Make sure I'm holding that straight. 2 1/4, okay? And because I decided it was going to be the length of 4 because I wanted a little bit of a flap here, we're going to score it there at 4. So again, that is 1 3/4, 2 1/4, and 4. So that's basically how simple that is to make your book. The next thing I wanted to do is obviously cover this book. You can go ahead and fold this, just so you can see what you're doing. Okay, so that's how our book is going to be. Pretty simple, easy to make in terms of that, and how you want to decorate it is totally up to you. If you like to see what I did, I went ahead and, like I said, used the fairy hugs paper. And actually what worked really well is I just used this die, so I knew how much paper and where I wanted it to be. And in this case, I'm trying to see how I did it. Yeah, it was this way. It will all fit in and all make sense as I go. So this particular die measures about 4 1/4 by 3. So either that or you can just cut out a piece that's 4 1/4 by 3, or you don't have to do that at all. I'm just going to show you why I'm doing it this way. So let me go ahead and cut this out, and I'll come back and show you how this placement works really well. Okay, I wanted to show you my tip. Of that piece of paper that we cut out, I decided that I'm going to use this die. It fit. It's not as wide, but that's fine because I also have a plan for that. This particular die measures at 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 by 2 3/4. So 1.5 by 2 3/4, or you can cut a piece of paper 1.5 by 2 3/4. So that's what that will look like right there on that. So I also need a piece on this side, right? And I need the binding. So what I decided to do was this. And I knew that I'm going to use this piece on this end for part of the flap right here. Okay? So what I did was I lined this up, as you can see, and I have a space right here. Now, here's the deal. Whatever space that you use, this is what you'll have left, unless you want to go back and use a piece of your paper that you started with, which you have a full piece of paper to do that with. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this out just like this, and then I'm going to hand cut these 2 little lines right there, and I'll have all 3 pieces that I need. So I'll do that really quick, and I'll be right back to show you how to do the flap. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. I'm taking that piece off like I showed you. All right. And so now I've got both of my pieces for my book, right? And then I want my little binding right there. So all I'm going to do is cut that straight across. Really trying to line up when you go to cut those 2 pieces out to make them as straight as you can, but it's not that big of a deal. You can always adjust that. All right, so that gives me my 3 pieces, right? I'm going to cut those little tabs. There's a little bit of tab things there. I'm going to cut those off. No big deal. So now we've got our 3 pieces. Now we want to do the flap. I've got this much paper left. I don't have to use that, but I'm going to go ahead and use that. Now, here's the deal. Remember I showed you the tags? There's an inside of the tag and an outside of the tag. We cut the tag or the book out of the outside of the tag. This is the inside. So the best way to line that up is to use this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and take this part off. We don't need it. And we have our piece. I am going to line that up and give myself as much space as possible. If I wanted more, I can use the other paper that we have that we started with. But that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've decided, in as much as this is exactly pretty much like what I did for the first book, it's a little bit different. I decided because I'm making a second book and it'll be for myself, I'm going to flip this paper, which is really a cool idea, because now I can have a second book that's completely different in terms of the color on the outside. So that's what I'm going to do to make it look a little bit different than this one. Flip this around. I think I'm going to do it differently because it is going to go like this. So you can play around with these and figure out what it is you want to do. I'm going to do this because this will flip over on top of that, and I think that'll look pretty cool, going just like that. So it's going to be a little bit different, but same concept. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those pieces down, and I'll be right back to show you the next step. Okay, so the tag die also comes with reinforcers, and so I decided I am going to be doing it a different way. Typically you would use the exact size, kind of like that would go with your tag, and I wanted to do an outside one and an inside one. So I used the largest one, and then I also cut these out of black, and I'm going to do that for the inside. And the piece of paper that I used actually comes with, what do I want to say, when you went to cut your top piece out right here, there was 2 pieces that you had left over that were scrap. I went ahead and used those to make these reinforcers. I didn't care that they were a different color. I just flipped it. And I'm going to use another one. I cut out 2 so I can use the other one for the inside when I go to decorate the inside. So the black one I used was the actual size that goes with this particular tag, which is the second to the smallest. So they're very thin reinforcers, and I just wanted it to double up because we're going to be using an enclosure that will be pulling on this whole opening. So to have the reinforces is a good idea for this particular project. All right, so right now we've got the front done. Then the next thing that I would do is the exact same thing for the inside. And so that would be this, but you know what, I might use because I used a different one for the inside of this one, I might use a different one. I might just use this side. We'll see. I'm not really sure. I didn't think that through when I went ahead and picked a different color. I think I'm going to find a different color for the inside. But instead of using this one, which is what I told you at the beginning, that is what I used for the inside of here, because I thought that went really well together. I am going to look for a blue for the inside of here in the rainbow or in the WinkleBush. I think I'm going to look for the WinkleBush paper. And I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the inside that I did on the outside. And I'll be right back. Okay, so for the fun next step, I wanted to show you this is what your cover could be. But because we lined the inside, you could really change your mind and just fold it. And this could be your cover. So you always have a choice of what you want to do. Say you didn't like this when you got done, you like this better, and make that your cover. So this is how we're going to be going. The next step I like to do is, I think you probably noticed there's a little bit of gold on these edges. And how I did that, because I just used craft paper, is I use Versamark. And I use what I have in my stash, which is fine, it's just basic gold. Classic gold is what it is. Yeah. So, and that works really great. So I do one section at a time. And I fold this flap in, okay? And I take the Versamark, and it doesn't matter if it really gets on the colored paper because it still looks good. But you can really see the Versamark on craft paper, it turns darker. And then I'm going to fold this side. And I'm going to get that. And then not to be too confusing, you could just do that and heat emboss it. But if you want to get a little bit more done at one time, you can get the edge of this flap. Or it would be the top of your tag. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead and just be more specific in terms of where I put my embossing powder. And that's how I'm going to do it for the other two parts on the other side. I don't dump a bunch on, I just tap it on. And then I'm going to get this other side, trying not to put my hands in it. And I did. There we go. And the thing about this is even if you do put your hands in it, you can put more first mark on and emboss it again. I have a piece right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss that, and then I'll do the back side and I'll be back. Okay, because I'm going to be making a completely different book, I thought, well, might as well use some different stamps. So the stamps I told you in the beginning is what I used on this original one. So now you're going to have a choice of doing yet another one by what I'm going to be telling you to use. I did want to show you the gold on here and how that works. So I'm using my smallest Misty, and I decided I'm going to make a wish book. Make a wish book. And I'm also going to be using moon dust. And I'll explain that to you too in just a second. I am going to go ahead. These small stamps that were just released by Fairy Hugs are perfect for mini books. Absolutely perfect. And I just wanted to use another one just to give you that example. Plus, I wanted a different one. So I'm going to go ahead and tape this down with my washi tape so it doesn't move. And put my magnet there. And then this one, they don't all fit on this skinny. If I made it a little bit wider, I could probably get more of the new release on here. But I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing for the inside of the book in terms of pages. So I might end up, they might end up being a little bit bigger. We'll see. We'll see. All right, I want to make sure the sentiment is on there most of all. And it is. And I'm going to be using VersaFine Clear Nocturne. And because I've stamped this one before, I usually don't have to stamp it a second time because there isn't any residue left on there from the factory. Now, on my first one, like I said, I did the other stamp here. That was, I think it was called Quiet Moments. I have to look, or Treasure the Moments. I don't remember which. I can tell you really quickly. Okay. Treasure, okay. Yeah, Treasure Quiet is what it is. I could see one little dot on here. I want to see if I can get that better. I can't. And I don't want to put too much more ink on that. See if I can just get that. Oh, there's a spot on him. It must be a little, oh, I had a little bit of paper dust. I'm just tapping and getting his body because I don't want to get a bunch more ink on there. Sometimes it's hard to see those little itty bitty dots. There we go. Now we got him. Okay, so what was I saying? Yes, I was using the other, I use this one, like I said, Treasure Quiet on the other one. This one's Make a Wish, and so because of that, I'm not using the little lanterns from Storyteller up above. It just doesn't go. So what I am going to use is what I showed you, the moon dust. Now what I did, because one of the DTs suggested this, and I believe it was Julia, that you can cut the moon dust apart. So I bought two, one that I could cut apart and use separately and one that I could use together. So this is what it looks like. Well, it's just like what the paper looks, that's what it looks like when you get it. And then you can cut it into two pieces. I don't know if there's a good way for me to show this to you. I don't know if I have a piece of paper here. Whoops, I do. There we go. So you can actually see how I cut that apart. This is the way it looks. Let's get this the right way. Yep. That's how it looks, and that's how I cut it apart. Okay? So for this top part up here, I decided I'm just going to add some more of that Stardust. Now, I don't want this little piece right here. So in this case, here we go. I was looking for my washi tape. I'm going to cover this little spot right here. And washi tape is helpful. Okay. And that will work. Just gives us a little bit more stars. And a place that I want to have it. Okay, that looks great. So for the back of the book, I had put this large owl and I made a moon, and then I added some of that foliage. For this one, I'm actually just going to use the moon dust, but to make it fit, I needed the two pieces again. So I can play around with that, how I want that to go. Because it did basically, well, let's see here. Yeah, I got that the other way around. It basically went like this, and then this went alongside of it like this, and that's not going to work. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this one slightly and then still put the stars down below. That's the one thing nice about if you can get these cut apart to make it your own. Okay, again I'm using VersaFine Clear Nocturne. And the other one was fairly simple to see what I did anyway. I just stamped the owl and then I added a mask moon. See, that works really, really well for any of the mini scenes. All right, I'm gonna wipe this off just so that if there's any ink on it, it doesn't get in the wrong spot. Yep, okay. And now we can just go ahead and put these on here. And I think that works really well. Yep, I think that's super. All right, if we want to keep with this total theme, I could still use the foliage, but I think I'm going to try and do, I think I'm going to go this way. I'm trying to get this on here the right way so I can fit it. I'm just going to keep it that way. It doesn't matter because we're just going to turn the platform this way around. All right, so in this case, I am going to just add some more stars, and I can do it in two different ways because I have two different sides. So if I don't want to get it on the edges of these, I'm just going to put a little bit of washi tape. I'm going to try to get that star on the bottom there because it makes sense with making the wish. Okay. Yep. Okay. And then we want to get the other side. I use different tape because it's got ink all over it, and sure as anything, I'm going to get it all over my fingers. Okay. I'm trying to see if I want to do it a different way, though, to be honest with you. I think that'll work. Yep. Okay. So we've got that all together the way I think will work really good for Make-A-Wish. And this book could be about putting your dreams and wishes inside of, which would be really cool. So that's how that one would look on the outside cover. Now, one of the things I did do is I did add a little bit of gold gel pen to this one. I did that in the lights. But the other thing I did, I think would work, well, I did over there, I think would look well on here is to add that gold to the center of these stars. Because then we'll have all this pretty sparkle, and it actually goes, let's get a little closer. And it actually goes with the whole theme again as Make-A-Wish. And you could even randomly, there's little teeny tiny ones in here. You can add sparkle to this as well. Now over here, we have, because I put those, they're a little bit bigger. And I can add more gold dots. And we can do it here too as well. Okay. So that's putting a book together that's a little bit different than the first one, but this gives you two options and to create some books. Now here's the other thing I was thinking. These would make great little ornaments too, and you would have to put probably a hole right here to hang it up, but it would be really cute, and then you could put pictures, Christmas pictures inside of it, make it a Christmas book, or just keep it with a fairy theme. Say you have a granddaughter, a dead princess, you could have princess pictures inside. So many ideas for these little books. Now, there's one last thing I wanted to tell you, is I used, basically, this is kind of like a ponytail band that you'd hold your hair back with. So in order to make this closure, all I did was I put that through that hole, course, it wasn't that tough when I did it before. My fingers aren't grabbing it. Of course, because I'm trying to do something. Hold on. There we go. It's really not that hard. I don't know why it was giving me a tough time. So anyway, so we got that strung through, and you just put one loop inside the other, just like that. And that is your closure for this book. And then all you do is you wrap it around. Now, I don't know if you noticed looking at this, because it does stand up. It does stand up, but it could be a purse. You could decorate this as a purse instead of a book. It'd be really super cute. So lots of ideas, and all of the tags can work for this concept. So I just wanted to let you know that. So that's the end of this video, but I wanted to tell you that I'm going to be making one more video with these books, and that's going to be doing the inside covers depending on what the theme will be. And so I wanted to show you a couple things I'll probably be using. One for sure, if you don't have this in your stash, you might want to get it. It's the Fairy Dictionary. I am going to be using this for my pages inside, for several pages. Another one I think that would work really well is the Reading Toads. It even has the word read on it and several toads reading. That will work really good for my treasure quiet moments. I haven't really thought about what I could add, because I did this kind of like impromptu on here for Make-A-Wish. But I am sure there are several things we can add to make a wish book as well. So anyway, that was my, like I said, that is our video tutorial for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I gave you some inspiration to do something similar or something fun today. I will have what I have used for both of these in the description below. And again, thanks for stopping by.